Good morning, y'all. How you doing? This is your boy Gerald. It is Easter weekend. Yesterday was Good Friday. You're rolling into your Easter. It is approximately 6:20 a.m. Saturday, March 2016. 26th. And I've got my coffee. I've been feeling. I've been really feeling this cup because when I think about each and every one of you, that's what I want. Hope you can see that. That's right. Wherever you are, I hope life finds you well. I hope it does. So I'm bouncing back to my normal self. Um, Last week, maybe a little bit over a week, that's almost a week, got sick, started having respiratory issues. And not that I was fearful, but I was very, very, very aware of what was going on, tried to stay ahead of that. And I noticed something, and you might want to take note wherever you are. Notice that with spring starting to come into its own with the weather, you got the pollen out there from the trees and plants and stuff. Next time you start to get the sniffles and stuff like that, or even before, look up, look up in the sky. And I found it seems like there's been more and more chemtrails. And it seems like every time there is chemtrail evidence, people get sick. Things happen in the environment. Maybe things occur in your neighborhood. Who knows? But it just seems like every time you see those lines in the sky, not a day or two later, there's always activity shortly after. And I started to scratch my head on that because I was like, I remember the artist Prince. We all know who Prince is, legendary musician. He had spoke about that on his interview when he was with Tavis Smiley. If you ever have, if you ever have opportunity, ain't nothing going on. It's not really long, but he makes mention to that. Dick Gregory, legendary comedian, um, actually the first African American comedian to be seen on primetime TV ever. I think uh, Mr. Gregory's like almost he in his late 80s, early 90s, still doing his thing. He mentions that. And and I just bring that up there because, we have to be more aware of not only what's going on with the social barometer in your environment, but as well as your health. Because it's about that temple now, ain't it? You only got one body. So it's required that you do your best to take care of yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to shorten your mortality. If you don't take care of it, no one's going to do it for you. And you know what? People want you around, even the people that you don't talk to. They want you to be healthy. You've got a legacy you have to live. You already know my platform. You already know my position. When God gave you the breath of life, your legacy was written. So you're living it. You're fostering your foundations. You're grounding your feet. You're speaking your truth. You are making your testimonies out of your moments where you have stumbled and fallen. But I decree to this moment right now, the person that you're destined to become is not the person who you are now. No, but the decisions that you make today will have an impact on the person you're destined to become. So it's required that you take care of that temple. Keep that mind right. Speak your truth. How about learning to say no? I've been trying to convey this for a minute now. The word no does not mean forever. The word no really means under review. If you don't like something, say no. If that person wants to have any investment of your time, don't you think they'll go back and make the corrections? Look at your job. Every time you do something and turn it into your supervisor, your director, whoever you work under, and they say, no, this ain't it. What happens? You go back, make corrections, and present it as they require. You got to live that with your life too. So get used to saying the word no. If it does not serve you, why are you entertaining it? If it doesn't bring the best of you out, why are you walking with it? If it does not allow you to tap in to that beautiful heart, that beautiful spirit, these are all the makings of you. Yeah, granted, imitation is flattery, but there's only one you. So take them track shoes off and run back to yourself. Walk back into yourself. Claim your life. You frustrated on how your life looks right now? Take ownership of your life and make the necessary changes. Because guess what? Until you do, those dreams and aspirations that are solely yours will never come to pass until you decide to live an authentic life. Don't you think you're worth it? I do. I truly do. And guess what? The people that genuinely love you, they want nothing but the best for your life. The human being, not the rhetoric, not the popularity, not what's hot today. They want what's going to be best forever, even if they don't get to be able to partake in it. That's what a real friend is. And I think some of y'all are learning that too. I think some of y'all are finally doing this, opening the doors, seeing your way out of the situations, and taking the road less traveled. Because that road is to your heart. That road has a covenant on it for your spirit, and it's blessed and it's protected. You know why? Because it was already ordained. It was already there for you. And as you fall back in love with yourself, I know y'all was like, what is that he got on? That's my t-shirt. It's my t-shirt. I've been, I'll share this little tidbit. Through the last 4 to almost 5 years, I've been kind of very subtly looking at my genealogy, right? And through the years, little things have been revealed. And some of those things have spawned thought back to my childhood. And I didn't understand, but I do have an understanding now why I saw what I saw. And the one thing that I've always questioned was, like any child, where are we from? What is my history? Because, see, one day you're going to have to answer that to someone else. Someone's going to ask you, what's your nationality? What are you made up of? Because I can't answer it for myself. I just simply say, well, I'm black. But I've been told, oh, you look Spanish, you look Dominican, you look Puerto Rican. You're from the island, especially when the sun's out and it starts to get warm, spring, summer. I get brown, like French fries. You know how us light skinned people are. Add a little heat, get golden brown. I know, see, yeah. But I always knew that my grandmother was Native American. I knew this, um, but I never asked, like, well, from where, how? Because you got to think back in the 1800s. There were some people that were brought through slavery that were successful and left those plantations, and they sought safety in some of those tribes. But let's not make no mistake about it, because there were some tribes that had an alliance as well. That, yeah, okay, you can run out here if you want to. They're gonna end up killing you, or they're gonna bring you back for a profit, because the Native Americans did that as well. But that's nor here nor there. But one of the things I always questioned was my heritage, and so I started doing a little research on it, and it never fails. Once a year, I'll I'll take a I'll take a stab at it and want to learn. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so drawn to going to the mountains. I love the mountains, and I try to go to the mountains at least once a year. And I knew that my family uh, bloodline on my mother's side um, was Blackfoot, but I also knew I wasn't sure. I always had this feeling it was Cherokee, but I couldn't confirm it. But I actually had uh, one of my siblings confirm that for me. But I plan on doing a genealogy research. I know they have um, the Dawes roll, which was kind of like a census for the Native American community, and because for some reason you had a lot of African Americans that were saying, "No, I'm not 100% African American. I'm Indian. That's why my hair look like." No, that you bought that stuff. Come on, be real. Um, but to each his own. But for myself, I always had this kindred connection. As I said, every time I go in the mountains, I get this oneness being there. And it's like, I don't want to use the term home, but I just adapt a certain mindset when I'm at peace, when I'm there. And so I don't know if it's a fear of really just knowing the truth, or, but I know that nothing, that's how God is. God don't waste nothing. And I know that in the intended time and moment, all answers that I am seeking, I'm being guided to. And that's how your life should be looked at too. Don't worry about getting to the end, to the finish line. Be meticulous each step, because when you are meticulous each step, you don't make mistakes. Everything is calculated. Plus, you don't get taken advantage of. I know I'm talking to somebody. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You ready to get off that merry-go-round of pain? Huh? You tired of being tired? It's time to let them demons go. But you can't let a demon go unless you don't acknowledge it exists. So again, I wish you guys were here, y'all. I showed, as you already know, Gerald loves some candles, right? And if you have a good place to get candles, because I know someone like, you just go to Yankee Candle. You can do that. You can actually go on Amazon and get a great price too. However, best place, if you like candles and you want a great price for them, if you got a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx or a Ross or a Home, they even got Home Goods. They call it Home Goods. But see, what a lot of people don't realize is those stores are all under the same umbrella. Hmm. That's why when you go in one store, they have the same kind of setup because they're owned by the same parent company. But if you're looking for bric-a-brac wear and stuff like that, I highly recommend check those places out. But I got those two I just showed you. For me, I keep sage burning in my place. Number one, because biblically sage roots out negative spiritual energy. So if there's any negative energy in your midst, it can't. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Demons don't like sage. They don't. And that's a good thing too. If you got some negative energy that may have gained access to where you lay your head, may it be people that you may associate and you don't know, go buy you some white sage and burn it. I guarantee you what will happen is it will come out. You will see it in the demeanor of those with ill intent. And just make the according, just do what's accordingly needed for your life. Because it's 2016, y'all. If you're sitting over here doing mind games and playing, dealing with Stockholm syndrome, you dealing with people and they using manipulation and control tactics over your life, you ain't living your life. They live in your life. If you have resentment or someone is pretty much got you the puppet on the string, you ain't living your life. They live in your life. And the sole reason for all that, oh, here you go. You don't want to have nothing to do with these people, but you constantly still sleeping with them. You're not living your life. They living your life. And you know why? Because there's fear still inside you. So therefore, if fear still exists inside you, they'll be also exhibited in your choices. And they will be exhibited in your reactions because there's no peace. And if there's no peace, guess what? There's no control. And if you don't have any control over what you're doing, maybe the real reason for it all is because you're not giving yourself what you need. You're just coexisting. So if you're just coexisting, how can you say that you're loving you? You're not supposed to be living your life like the Stevie Wonder song, Just Enough. Living just enough, just enough for the bullshit. No. You go to bed doing the same thing you did the weekend before, and it with the same outcome over and over and over and over again, and the only thing that changes is time marches on and the faces change. You ain't loving yourself. Come on, kings. You can't be the king of your castle if you don't put the first brick down to build your foundation. You emulating what you see, what you hear. 50% of what you see and hear is fantasy. It's illusion. Smoke and mirrors, brother. See, what you don't realize is behind that curtain is somebody with a script, programming the way you think and act and respond. So once again, when you gonna clip them strings and claim your life back? Can't call yourself a man until you have a relationship with God. You can do everything. You be the toughest guy on the street. But how tough are you when you're on bended knee? When you're at need? When all you want is clarity at night? How tough are you then? Where's your influence then? Where are they then? If you won't be there for you, why does it not? Do you not see the correlation? We are what we attract. I've been echoing this as long as I can remember because it's for the intended heart, the intended mind. You're not supposed to be waking up this weekend to take an L. Now, if you're going to throw an L up there, make sure you throw the other four letters that go with it. OVE or IFE, your life, living in favor every day. If you spend 1 ounce doing this or doing this, you ain't living your life, man. You're not. If you think that what you got there is going to be the key to get you right there, you ain't living your life. You're not. If just walking around and functioning in your day-to-day it just more or less becomes a chore or a burden. You're not living your life, you're existing. And it all can be summed up for one reason. You refuse to answer that question that you have been running from for oh so long. You refuse to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. When's the last time you told yourself that you loved you? But yet you spend every moment seeking false validation from who? Them? Another story? Another experience? Another bad habit you picking up? What's the gain in that? Because they have a closer view to what looks like your dream, which comes out to be your nightmare, because you're going to have to deal with the gauntlet. Well, guess what? That ain't your dream, is it? Because anything that is ordained by God will be given in the appropriate time. God didn't need your permission. He didn't ask you to give him permission to give you your blessings. You got it messed up. You got it messed up. And I've been trying to convey this as respectfully as I could to the intended ear and intended heart, especially you, my queens. Stop sitting up here saying to anybody that will listen, there's no good men. Stop saying that, because you're making yourself look foolish. Stop walking around here thinking that your sexual prowess is all that's needed to move around on this earthly realm. Stop doing that. Stop thinking that your wounds are going to be the things needed for your breakthrough. Stop doing that. And I'll explain everything in reverse why I said stop. And stop walking around with this contaminated emotional mindset that grudges and non-forgiveness is what's required to live your life. Stop doing that. You're making a mockery out of your existence. How about your legacy? How about your heritage? You know, at one time I posed a question. I said, well, it's almost 3 years. I said, if your elders had ability to come back to see you, just check on your life where you are, would they come to you with a warm embrace and hug, or would they meet you with a switch? See, there's a lot of people walking on this planet that need to be towed down for the flow down. Y'all know I'm talking true. They've allowed their ego and their pride to corrupt the way they think. And in turn, they've made decisions and used those decisions to influence the direction they wish to go with their life. Now, granted, that's free will. That's free will, y'all. Those are the two gifts that the big guy in the sky. I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ. He gave you the moment you took your first breath. Number one, the gift of unconditional love. He loves you no matter what. No matter what you've done, he still loves you. That's where the true term ride or die should be, because he's been riding for you since you've been born. But you've allowed your environment to convince you to turn your back away, turn your back from yourself. Doesn't I tell you, misery loves company? Haven't I conveyed that? Haven't I tried to say, look, this is what you need compared to this is a want? You think I do that just to um, be covert? Nah, I want you to be happy. I want you to be, I'm not even in your life. I want you to be happy. Yeah, you, you deserve, some of y'all have divorced yourself from your smile so long ago, don't even know what it feels like. But I'm gonna tell you something. You're looking at a man that lost his smile for almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I used to blame it on the military. I did. Because at one time in my life, when I served in the Air Force, I was one of my responsibilities, I was part of uh, Air Force Honor Guard in one of the bases that I was stationed. And keeping my military bearing was key. To do that, you had to disconnect yourself from yourself, especially when you're burying someone, you're paying their last respects. You have to keep it on point at all times. And I believe that. I used that as a shield to deflect what was really going on inside. And I couldn't understand. So I had to get rid of, you may have heard the term stinking thinking. Instead of picking up every challenge that is laid before you, there are some challenges they're supposed to be right where they are, below you. They're not meant for you to pick up. It is meant for you to be aware that they exist so that you can make sound decisions for your life. Because you only got one. Think about it. Who gonna live your life when you gone? If you were to have these last 24 hours, what impact would you leave? What impact would you make? Because all that is summed up on that hash. You know, born, died, your legacy's in the middle. Not to sound morbid, but that's reality. We're all, our mortality is going to end one day. So it's very important. That's why you hear the term carpe diem, seize the moment. Because the moment is your life. If you're spending money, if you're spending time that is not enriching, if you're not spending time doing the things you truly enjoy, what about them hobbies? What about them hobbies? Doesn't matter how old you are. You need to throw that out you need to throw that ideology out the window. Because it should be the older you become, the more seasoned, the more wisdom, more insight, more growth illustrated. It should come from a point of not only being able to articulate it, but to back it up time and time again. Why? It's not done out of ego. Pride is nowhere found there. It's because it's you. See, that's a problem, y'all. We live in a world that everything is done in excess. Everything is done without accountability. And when the evidence is there, and it's usually after the fact, we want to quickly grab the victim shield and say, well, I did this because of that. The second gift God gave you was free will. Last time I checked, ain't nobody got a gun in your mouth. Click. Ain't nobody got a gun to your head. Click. Ain't nobody got a dagger ready to stick you in your back. So guess what? You have a part in that. You have a choice. You can go left, right, forward, back. We've gotten so lackadaisical in the way we think and allowed our pride and ego to justify our bad behaviors that we are more worried about losing respect than gaining our honor. Oh, even though I did this, I can't take a step back. How would that make me feel? How would that make me be perceived? Maybe it'll make you perceived as you're human. Maybe you'll finally have an epiphany to understand that wasted a whole lot of time. Sure, everybody wants to go to a carnival and have the stuff there, but really, nobody wants to take that stuff home. I know I'm talking to someone. At the end of the day, y'all, nobody should, could, or will do it better than you when it comes to your life. And when you really think about it, the person that is going to walk with you, and this is what really kills me when I hear this. And I know a lot of that has to do with non-accountability, but a lot of it is environmental immaturity because we want to quickly seek validation at all costs, even if it comes by way of self-humiliation. That's where that assertiveness comes out. That's why you see people that are broken, volume on 10, their way of expression on 10, but their accountability for what they do is on 0. You stop and say, hey, whoa, 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 this ain't what you want, player. This ain't what you need. That's not a good look for you. And they keep on doing it anyway. That's why I always echo to each and every one of you. You ain't, you're not gonna live your life until you hit your mid-30s. You still figuring out what this beautiful temple known as your body is doing. But you don't start getting your mind right till you hit your 30s. That's why I say to each and every one of you, do you know who you are? Do you know? The average person say, yeah, I know who I am. But they lying. They're saying that the same faith. We living in an era where you got 50-year-old women wanting to work, but yet you don't even have a financial plan. Now, at the end of the day, you can do what the hell you want to do. But on the same breath, you can't blame your life outcome. So you're doing this to yourself. And I think some of y'all get what I'm saying. Now, if you've done the work, laid the foundations that are needed, then celebrate, enjoy your harvest. That's why we always hear biblically, you're going to reap what you sow. But one thing I've also come to know is this: God don't need your permission to love you. He didn't ask for that. Why? Why he got to ask you? He created you. So if he created you, why are you taking it upon yourself to go find your mate? Why are you doing that? Don't you realize when you do that, you playing yourself? You playing yourself. And I'm going to tell you why. Every time you take it upon yourself to do something and God's not in front of it, what happens? I'm going to tell you two things. The devil benefits because he's going to pervert it, and a lesson comes out of it because it wasn't protected. I know that needs to go out to somebody. Y'all give me 15 seconds, okay? Give me 15. All right, thank you for being patient. So it's 7:03, Saturday, 26th of March, 2016. So, you know, I speak this because I look at my life. I look at what I've experienced, the people that have been in my life, the people that I've had a blessing to watch grow, stand beside, and love. And I found myself a numerous time, and I'm like, Lord, you brought me here, but I was here. In that period of transition, you were there the whole time. I know that needs to go to somebody. I feel that that right there needs to go to someone. You're in transition right now, but I'm going to let you know you're going to have the clarity and understanding for your life when you make a declaration to yourself that your life matters. When you are able to be comfortable and look yourself, that beautiful person in the mirror, and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I know I've let you down, but I forgive myself. I'm not going to give up on you. And I want you to know, no matter what has occurred, I love you. All our dreams and aspirations are going to be revealed after the work is done. See, if you can't have that conversation with yourself, you ain't keeping it real. See, I know the average person will say, well, Gerald, ain't that kind of being crazy? No, because what I just described to you and through display is this. That's what intimacy looks like. Some of y'all that'll sink in. Some of y'all will let it go in one ear and out the other. But I'm going to tell you what. Why do you think your sex drive is through the roof? You can't walk down the street without. You can't sit still because your legs. You want that. The reason why your sex drive is that way is because you lack intimacy with yourself. It's because you don't have a relationship with yourself. Because if you had a relationship with yourself first, you wouldn't have to jump out of that person's bed. How about deal with their bullshit? I know I'm talking to someone. You're putting yourself in a situation that doesn't even, it is not even amicable. It is not even blessed. It is not even on the same median scale. But guess what? There's that free will. Ain't nobody put no gun to your head. Ain't nobody telling you to whip it out because she said hello. Nobody's spreading your legs because they paid you a compliment. But if you don't know what love is for yourself, being affectionate to yourself by giving time to yourself, you're going to take the first thing that comes your way. Why do you think demons exist, y'all? Demons are real, but they need a host. They need a body to work through. Why you think that abuse is going on? Why you think he's slapping you upside your head? Why do you think he is violating your body and your self-respect? God ain't in that. God ain't in that. But see, some of y'all will turn around and take the platform of, well, if God loved me, why would he allow me to go through what I'm going through? Because you put yourself there. You walked in that door. And what did I tell you about doors? Every threshold is not a threshold you're supposed to walk in. Because once you walk in, you have to own what's on the other side. Some doors that are made open are not meant to be walked through, but to be noticed. That's what gauges your value to you. At the end of the day, if you're going home or wherever you choose to lay your head, if you're not at peace, you shouldn't be there. Because materialism will never give you peace of mind. You can't buy peace of mind. You know why? Because it's found within yourself. And I'm saying this out of love, y'all, because you deserve to be happy. But see, we go through phases, we go through seasons. And those seasons are fueled by the seeds that make up our insight by way of experience. And that insight should birth the wisdom that is part of you. So look at where we're at now, y'all. 2016. We gotten to a point now that there's so much there's so much focus on the material and the physical, and it's hidden. And they don't even have to hide it in front of you now. They make it so that, yeah, it's user friendly. You know why everything's user friendly? Because they don't want you to think. They don't want you to use that cognitive brain to analyze, to understand between right and wrong, compared to what is a need based on a want. They just want you to consume. Come on, Queens. Why do you think that you do one of the three things when you're upset? You either spend a lot of money that you don't have, go and buy a lot of food and eat because you're stressed out, or you jump in and sleep with anyone just for a release. You know why? Because, see, they know, and I'm saying society knows, as long as you have an unstable woman, you'll have an unstable family. They know this. So as long as mom is unstable, if she's ever to have children, they'll be unstable too. Because mom is like the tree, the children are like the fruit. But guess what? Because the tree produces doesn't mean the fruit is ripe. And, I noticed something. I had an epiphany last week when I was ill. And I was like, then that makes sense. Let's flood the street legally with all these guns because, number one, criminals don't follow laws. They don't care. That's why that's why there's so much murder and mayhem. And there's always Johnny on the 6 o'clock news being killed. And they know that there are going to be people that are going to legally buy all these weapons so they can turn around and turn a profit for them too. Because last time I checked, there's not a gun factory in a hood near you. There's not a ammo dispensary in a low income community near you. But we do have Walmart now, don't we? So we can always get all the ammo we want. We have fast food restaurants on every corner to compete with the liquor stores. And they make room for that beauty supply store too, because they know that since she's so insecure and she doesn't love herself, that she will do everything in her power to change her identity than to claim her own. And that's the world we're living in, y'all. So of course they're gonna turn around and say, well, let's make everything AI tech. What I mean by AI tech, for those you do not who might not understand, I'm talking about artificial intelligence, smart capability. And as the years progress, they will become more and more savvy. Why? Because they don't want you to think. But see, let Let me pump my brakes. I should have thrown a disclaimer on here because what I want to say, I know I said, just go ahead and say it, Joe. Because I don't want someone to be like, oh, you being hypocritical. But look, even Apostle Paul went to the areas that most wouldn't go. This is for that somebody that is at that crossroad that needs that voice of reason. For that person that's sitting down in that parking lot that he thinks that no one knows about, and you are drinking your sorrows away, but you're going to drive away after you're done. Or that secret spot that you go to have your stolen moments to a person that's already claiming a wedding band that promises you forever but only gives you today. This conversation is for you. When you gonna love you? When you gonna get tired of making excuses for not claiming your life? Didn't I tell you there are people in the cheap seats, I don't care if they're family members, that don't want to see you happy? Didn't I tell you that? They celebrating your demise. They plot behind your back. Didn't I tell you that? I'm not the bad guy. I'm one of the good ones. So let's go back to that, Queens. You need to zip your mouth with that negative talk. Stop coming out of your mouth saying, I'm ratchet, using that terminology. You know what ratchet is? That is just broken colloquialism for the word wretched. You know what wretched is? It's evil. It's non-blessed. It's defiled. So guess what? God ain't gonna be in that. So guess what? If God ain't gonna be in that, guess what? You're not being protected even from yourself. We live in a world where it used to be the serial killer didn't look like the neighbor next door, but they know how to use this internet. They know what to say and do to get you to play yourself. See, the people that love you will never disrespect you. They want you to win. They want you to shine. They want to see that smile. They want you to grow, even if they ain't even in your life. You know why? Because those people give a damn about you. They give a damn about your story too. And they want your story to have happy ever after. Not that Walt Disney illusion. See, that's when the brainwashing begin, y'all. I want you to take note of that. hmm They put these movies out with a story in mind, and they indoctrinate it to your children. Because guess what? That's how the social structure is made now, ain't it? Look at the toys. They don't have to put it out there, but they make toys seasonary because they have to have enough mentally. They have to have children with a certain mentality that they either going to work a blue collar job, a white collar job, or they're going to be an athlete. They got to fit those three perimeters. The class structure begins when Johnny knows how to learn his colors and his numbers. And do you not see it? Some of y'all do. So does it surprise you that people from the outside of our beloved nation have a certain disposition and viewpoint towards us? I had someone tell me, and I'm convinced of this too. Yes, we are living in end times. We've been living in end times as long as you've been alive. But I believe more and more we are making the story of Sodom and Gomorrah ever so present. They're forcing the agenda. They're taking the way, they're taking away the right of choice. They're saying you ain't got a choice. You just got to accept. For those that are in their late 30s, you remember there was a time where you would come to school and say the Pledge of Allegiance. You remember there was a time where you would pray before lunch or when you started your class day. You remember there was a time where if you got out of pocket, you went to the office and maybe that principal will go in his drawer or her drawer and pull out that persuader and tighten you up. See, we don't do that no more because we want to be PC about things and not correct things. So does it surprise you now that, of course, it's a political year. Everything is on its tilt. There's a lot of confusion going on. And you've got people that have the soapbox that are speaking what they feel from their core self. Does it surprise you? Why does it? And here's the funny thing about it. 2 videos ago, I spoke about having a dream of wolf in sheep's clothing. I mentioned it. And I believe what I was seeing in my dream was people being covert, being brought to the light of their true intentions. And not to offend, but I'm going to tell you this right now. We've been seeing a lot of attention for the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And the one thing that scratched my head on it was I personally believe that the nuts and bolts of that organization ain't black people. And the reason why I say that is you've got to fund that, buddy. You've got to have a cash flow. Because I'm going to tell you why. When you look at the people that are out there protesting, you see us, right? The impressionable. Usually they are college students who should be in class, or those who are not working, got a whole lot of time. But what I don't see is honest folk, honest Joes like you and me out there protesting. We're not going to do that because we got that mortgage we got to pay. We got that car note that's due. We got responsibilities. And so what made me think was, well, how do you get all these people at the precise time and moment to assemble like that. And then I remember when the story of the Michael Brown uh, case came about, and it was alluded that there were people bussed in. That's money. Somebody had to pay for the bus. But one thing I noticed about us as a community, for the most part, we're not going to waste our time if ain't no money in it. So I thought about it. I said, you know what? If I wanted to make a statement, how would I do it? And I said, well, damn. And then it dawned on me. What if these people are people that are unemployed? And if I was looking for some, because I got to have a face, what if I hit you up at the unemployment office before you come in? What if I turn around and drop some propaganda at a school near you? Ain't nobody doing that for nothing, y'all. And haven't you noticed the people that are in key positions, they're salaried. So who's paying your check? Something to think about. Something to think about. Because trust, you ain't seeing nobody out there protesting uh that's gonna leverage their 401k, be out there to make a statement. That ain't happening. But here's another thing you don't see. You don't never see an intelligent person in those things giving an interview either. They always make sure they get that person that are two shades to the wind or will socially take us back 2 steps. Got to have that shower cap on the head so the rest of the world can see you now, don't we? Come on now. But let's peel that onion back. You think for 1 second that somebody's not sitting in a boardroom, got that 80-inch LED smart TV doing this? Yeah, see? Yeah, we implemented plan A. We're gonna go to phase 2. Nah, come on, man. Think about it. And more now, you're starting to see people do. Here's the thing. This is 2016, and you got people running around robbing banks. Real? Robbing 7-Elevens. Really? I know our economy is beat up, but guess what? It's a political year. They do that stuff. They always try to dry up the reserve so that when the new guy or the new person can look like they're the savior. Don't fall for that. But you notice what ain't drying up? Them liquor stores ain't drying up. Some clubs ain't drying up. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Them gun ranges ain't drying up. Mm-mm. They making money hand over fist. You know why? Because they know the average person needs a stress reliever and is not going to do the things that are needed to relieve the stress. I had a buddy of mine, he was like, Gerald, why you ain't going to the clubs? I said, there's nothing wrong with going out. There's nothing. once you got your stuff in order. But then I threw him, I threw a hook on him. I said, but really think about it. Why do I want to go to a club when I'm not the club owner? I'm making him rich. I'm making her rich. Mm-mm. Stack your money. Plan for your tomorrow. And make sure that your dreams are tied to it. So it goes back to what I said before. Do you know who you are? Because if you knew who you are, the people that you associate yourself with, first of all, the days of faking it to make it are over. Things are starting to become obviously present. I saw something yesterday that blew my damn mind. I saw this tenderoni. I don't think she was maybe 22, and she was healthy, and she had her 4 kids too. And sure enough, there was this 65-year-old dude right there, pick up that tab. And I know there was a lot of that going on this weekend because Junior got to have that Easter suit. Got to make sure he shine. Little Shay Shay got to have all the bows and the frilliness so that when you go in front of the congregation, you stand out. Oh, gotta make sure you gotta make sure you gotta have the lady with the big old hat. She got that big old hat on, but she got them sunglasses on too. You know why you wear them big hats? You know why women wear them big old hats and wear them sunglasses? It's to hide her shame, to hide who she really is or what she stands for. But you love the Lord, right? How can you love the Lord but if you don't love yourself? Something to think about. So, y'all, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just know Gerald got love for each and every one of you. I hope that wherever you are, you place God first in everything you do. I really believe this is a time spiritually where the things that are done in the dark are coming to the light, and the requirement to be authentic for your life and your direction must be. And let it not be a surprise to you when you start seeing people that were in relationships just break off. You're like, damn, how did that happen? Why? They seem so good. And people who may have worked places for long periods of time just move on. I'm gonna tell you why. Because God is getting tired. And the things that are not blessed are going to be brought under review. They're going to be exposed because, see, the devil's a liar, and the devil likes nothing more than to pervert everything and mock everything under God's dominion. And I believe this more than ever. I told y'all this 2 years ago, Queens. Stop getting that surgery. That's not going to fill that void that's in your heart. God made you perfect. If you don't like the way you look, change up your approach, and add some things in there that you weren't doing. Maybe you're not drinking your water. You drinking enough water in your life? Come on. You taking your vitamins? You don't like vitamins? Change your diet and your eat the 5 basic food groups. Respect that. How about this? When's the last time you have given yourself time to go for a walk? Huh? How about that? How about some me time? Hmm? Get back to those hobbies, those healthy things that stimulate that smile. Ain't nothing worse to see a very beautiful woman who has lost her smile. But more even tragic when a man does it. Because what you're witnessing is a person that is broken. So, how about that? Some of y'all are dealing with Stockholm syndrome. You are giving your abuser, I don't care how long you've been married to him or married to her, because there's just as many men being emotionally emasculated and abused, and they're doing it under under the shield of, well, I'm just sticking it out for my kids. No, get yourself right, because until you get yourself right, you're not serving the best interest for your children or your child. But guess what's happening? You're teaching them what not to do because they're looking at your behavior. They're looking at your actions, and they're going to adopt those traits. See, the average Joe has no clue what love is because he wasn't reared correctly. He probably wasn't raised in an environment that was loving. He was taught to survive. And that's why his friends are the friends he got, because they have the same spiritual mindset. That's what that movie Lost Boys was all about. Remember the classic Lost Boys? It was about vampires in New England. But really, they were talking about boys that were spiritually lost, that were dangerous, that did not have a relationship with God. That's not supposed to be your husband, Queen. He ain't coming until you prepare. I know that's what you want. You say, when is the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams going to be revealed? The moment you stop bluffing yourself, the moment you stop lying to yourself and take accountability for your actions and make the necessary changes to correct them with courage. How about having that conversation with God? Some of y'all have a boulder of burden, a boulder of, how about them secrets you keep holding on to? You got all these secrets in your life. You got all this dirt on people. You say, I'm going to hold on to this because it might serve me later. Yeah, it is. It's serving. It's serving you from stepping into your life, because guess what? You're putting attention on something that has no merit but pain, despair, and evil. But that's what the devil wants you to believe. The devil wants you to believe your life don't matter. You just here to eat, reproduce, and die, not leave your mark on humanity. That's why the term each one teach one exists. You got to remember, It's about taking the road less traveled. Robert Frost, legendary poet, one of my favorite poems. When you have the courage to take that first step, it will be grounded. But guess what? When you get to the end of that road, you will be made new because you're worth it. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. If you know you're dealing with something, why don't you go talk to someone? Go talk to somebody. Somebody that is not looking to be an opportunist. Someone who does not have an agenda to capitalize on your life. Someone who only wants to see the best for you. How about you start with talking with God? He's waiting for you. You're his greatest investment. Don't you think you deserve to shine? It's time for you to claim you and love yourself more. Have a blessed and safe Easter. If you guys are on the highway today, please be safe. There are going to be people out there that is not going to be thinking about your well-being. And unfortunately, some of them are not going to make it home due to decisions. Just remember, there are people that are connected to you that want to see you the same way they saw you last. And that was safe. Be blessed, y'all. Peace.